Hi. So my friend Patrick asked me to talk about um, even-handedness. I call it control, actually. I consider it control. But what he was talking about was mixed sticking, and making mixed stickings like paradiddles and doubles with singles and various combinations of strokes to make them sound even when you play them without accents. So before I get into mixed sticking, I want to talk about just single strokes, and how do we get our single strokes to sound even. Before I even talk about the stroke itself, I like to talk about the stick. And I want to start with the drumstick. Basically, you need to use two of the same sticks. Well, you don't have to, but if you want to get a nice even single stroke roll, it helps if you have two of the same sticks. Now, besides having two of the same sticks, something I like to talk about is the pitch of the wood of the sticks. And I'm putting this stone here because the stone will allow the resonant wood tone to come out, so you can hear the pitch of the sticks. And I begin with getting straight sticks, of course, because I'm using a bounce technique and I have to control the bounce, and I want it to come back straight. So I want the stick to be straight. I do that by rolling it, and watching the neck to see if there's no sway. And then the other thing is the pitch, and because I'm not grabbing the sticks, I'm grabbing the stick now. I'm deadening all the vibration from the stick, so you're hearing a very dead tone. But if I let the stick go, you can hear it has a very nice pitch to it, and the pitch is pretty much very close. So that gives me an advantage when I play a single stroke roll, because at least the sticks have the same sound coming out. If my hands don't, I'm going to get closer to it because the sticks are closer to it. Now, you can understand having a different stick won't really alter that. But even the same stick, if it's a different pitch. So this stick, same stick. I don't know if you can hear that. Like more than a half step there. Higher. I'm not really getting the same sound anymore. Even no matter how good my single stroke roll is, it's not going to be as good as. So that's the first thing I want to do. I want to make sure I have a matched pair of sticks. Same tone in them, especially if I'm using a bounce method where I'm not gripping the sticks and I'm allowing the tone to come out. And then also affects the drum and the cymbal, the tonal vibrations. So that's the first thing. The second thing I want to do is, I want to deal with my hands. I want to make sure my hands are equal, and of course they aren't. You can work on that, and I do. So one of the things I do is I work on my weak hand more than I work on my right hand to try to make up for that difference between the hands, so I can get them closer together. So when I exercise, I may double up things on my left hand. So I like to use the stick control book, and it has this mixed sticking that Patrick was talking about. 72, first few pages, 72 mixed sticking exercises, starting with singles, reversing them into doubles, into paradiddles, and there's triple paradiddles in there, all that kind of stuff. So I look at the first 13 exercises. Well, first of all, before we even look at the 13, just take a look at all 3 pages and make believe that there's no R's and L's underneath the staff, and just read it as is, as if you were articulating it with your mouth very slowly, and it's all eighth notes and it's all the same pitch. So all 3 pages will sound the same. But that's the concept that I think George Stone meant to imply, is that all of the exercises sound exactly the same to the listener. And there's no way of discerning between the first exercise and the 72nd exercise unless you happen to be looking at what the person is doing. Okay, so the first 13 I think are the essential. The first one starts with 1 stroke per stick, or single stroke. That's what I call an even stroke exercise, so I'll do that the normal amount of times. And then the number 2 is the same thing but left-sided. And then number 3 is this stuff. Notice I'm working very slowly, and I'm trying to match the hands together when I play them. These are all even so far. And then number 4 is the reverse of that. And number 5 is your pardo. And inverted. Second inversion. Third inversion. Okay, so that's all supposed to sound like number 1. Then we get to number 9, and then we start having more than 2. We start having 3. And here's where I start to separate the exercises into even exercises and right or left-handed exercises. I call this a right-handed exercise because you're using 3 strokes on one hand and 1 on the other. So out of the 8 strokes, I'm doing 6 on my right hand and 2 on my left hand. Fine. But if I reverse that, now I'm doing 6 on my left hand. So if my left hand is my weak hand, which it is, I am going to double up the number of times I do that particular exercise. And the next one, same thing. I will double it up because it favors the left hand or the weak hand, and then it goes back to the right hand again. And to complete the sequence, George goes to 4 on number 13, the top of the next column. Okay, and that's another even one. But the whole idea is this. Sounds like 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 this. Shouldn't change now. Sounds like this. Change to this. Okay. Now you might hear some differences because you have acoustics in the room. So if I was doing it next to a wall, next to this wall for instance, and when I did my left hand it would sound different from the right hand because the acoustics on the left side of the room would be different than the right side of the room. Also, if I don't hit the middle of the pad, or the same place in the pad, so control is very important. Control to be able to play every stroke with the same amount of energy. No matter how many strokes you have to play in either hand. I don't care about speed, I just want to control what I'm doing at this stage. That's all I want to do. Okay? So, one of the ways that we can check the amount of energy being the same in each hand. Oh, the other thing too is because I have a weak, there's another approach here. Besides having a weak hand, having doubling up the exercises so that it could get closer to the right hand facility. We also have to take that in mind when we're playing with the two hands together in unison, well, not in unison, in sequence. And our strong hand isn't stronger. So I have to, what I do is I attenuate my stronger hand. It's okay when I'm playing alone, I can do whatever I want. But if I'm playing together with the weaker hand, I have to give deference to the weaker hand and saying, well, if I want the rolls and the doubles and the paradiddles and all of the mixed stickings, if I want it to sound even, I have to attenuate my stronger hand so that it doesn't surpass the energy of the weaker hand. So I'm always balancing the two hands in terms of energy level. So I can only go as fast as my weakest hand or as loud as my weakest hand when I'm using my right hand in tandem with it. It's different if I'm playing on two different objects, I'm getting two different sounds, then I can play really hard with my right hand and really soft with my left when I want to. But when you're playing roll, you don't want that. You want every stroke to be the same. So besides working extra on the weaker hand to get it closer to the right, you can also mask a little bit on the right hand to make sure it doesn't really surpass the right in energy. And I was about to say that one of the ways we can monitor energy is by the height of the stick. So, of course, one of the obvious things is the stick should come about the same height above. Each side should be even, the same height. But that's not really enough. I want to talk about the energy rather than the height, because the energy is created by the height, but not by the height, but what the height gives the opportunity to do, which is to increase the speed. Now, I talk about physics a lot, and I've talked about this formula of the energy of the stroke equals the speed of the acceleration times the mass. So why is it louder up here than down here? Well, obviously, because I'm not getting as much acceleration. If you think about acceleration, think about like a 0 to 60 car race, right? So if the car goes, has to get to 60, so it might take a quarter mile for it to get to 60. Now, if you want to go faster, if you want to go faster than 60, you're going to have to go longer than a quarter mile, so you have more distance to accelerate in. If you don't want to increase the distance, then you have to increase the acceleration rate itself. Either way, you're creating more energy by increasing the distance. You increase the acceleration, or by just manually increasing the acceleration between the same spots. I'll tell you what I'm talking about. When you're playing slow and high, I have a lot of leeway in how fast I want to throw the stick. So so in the same height, I can get different sounds. Depending how quickly I throw. I want to throw the sticks also at the same speed, so that that's what really gives me the same energy. Now, if I increase the amount of strokes I'm doing, I'm decreasing the amount of time I have to make the stroke. So I'm making one stroke per beat. I have plenty of time to go slow. I could go fast and be ready much quicker, but then my energy level is different. My weak hand's not going to be able to go that fast, so I'm never going to play that fast with both hands when I'm doing this. And I could do this as well. It's a different energy. Either way, I want the energy to be the same, regardless of the height as well. Because the height, as you pick up speed though, if I do this, I can still do it adding one more stroke to this, it's not getting louder than this because I'm still throwing the slow stroke, or the stroke with a lot of time, at the same speed that the stroke with less time, half the time has. Now if I add a third stroke, and then I have to increase the time even further, I can almost keep the speed down, but as I get faster, I have less and less time to get back up to go down again, so I have to move the stick up and down quicker in the same amount of time to get more notes out. So the more notes I play in the same amount of time, the more energy I'm going to generate. So if you think about, if I'm playing one note here and two notes here, well, at a slow tempo, I can do that because I can throw them at the same speed. But I can throw this single stroke in a very fast sequence. They're all singles, so to speak. But here I'm doing two in a row before I rest. So it's going to take a lot more energy in my left hand to get two notes out against one in the right in the same period of time. So if I'm playing, to get an increase in volume was because this stick was moving fast. So I'm going to have to get the same sound, I have to increase the speed in the right hand to match the energy level that's going to be generated by having to play three strokes in the same amount of time. No. So if I bring it down, the speed is a lot slower. I know that we play fast down here, and you think this is fast, but it's not. It's just a lot of repetition in a very short period of time. But the actual wrist speed is very slow when we come down. So it's a lot easier to match the energy here, because there's a lot less fluctuation in what you can do with the speed of the energy level until it gets fast. Here, I can throw it slow, or I can throw it fast. Here, I can't throw it faster than I can get enough acceleration out of the 3 or 4 inches that I'm using. Okay? So I have to think about the height, and also I have to think about the tempo and how many strokes I'm going to play. So if I'm going to play 3 on the left hand, which is the weak hand, I'm not using height, I'm using speed. Here's height without the speed. See? Not doing an accent, so I'm not using. I gotta throw it down fast to get more energy, to get the accent. But if I don't want an accent, I have to make sure that my wrists are moving at the same height and the same speed within the same period of time. So the other issue is, as we add, we have to generate more speed, but we can't low, so we have less energy going with each stroke. And that's why it's soft. So we have to practice playing 1 stroke, 2 strokes, 3 strokes. Now I'm bouncing, but I want to use my wrists. And that's what George does in the stick control book. He's developing 1 stroke, and then gives you 2 strokes, and gives you combinations of 1s and 2s, and gives you 3s, and combinations of 3s and 1s, and then 4s, and combinations of 1s and 4s. He starts mixing them up. So at the last page, you're doing stuff like you have very mixed sticking. You got an inverted paradiddle going against the same right-hand paradiddle against the same left hand, and all kinds of things going on, inversions and sticking combinations. So really what we're talking about is endurance. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about being able to play strokes that sound the same for a long period of time, and control control them. Because playing slowly, we have time to catch. You can hear I'm catching it. This is half as fast, but if I do it in one hand, I don't have time to catch it anymore. I'm just dribbling the basketball. So we're controlling this dribble. It's still the same as doing one stroke, except I have 2 strokes in a row before I stop the dribble, or 3 strokes in a row before I stop the dribble, or 4 strokes in a row before I stop the dribble. Play fast if I want to, but I have to have a consideration of the fact that I have a weak hand and a strong hand, so I have to attenuate my right hand. I have to practice extra with my left hand, which is the weak hand. And I have to be very concentrated when I'm playing the 2 hands together, that I'm using the same amount of energy in each hand. And I have to develop some endurance so that my ease of ability for doing 1 stroke or 2 strokes or 3 strokes or 4 strokes is eliminated. The difficulty is eliminated for me, so it doesn't really matter if I play 1 stroke per every 2 bars, with 2 strokes, with 3 strokes, with 4 strokes, with 5 strokes, with the whole 2-bar sequence is 8 strokes. That's the 2 bars. 1, 2. Repeat. 1, 2. 1, 2. Should sound the same. 1. Either way, it sounds the same. So I practice that way. I practice a lot of endurance stuff so that it's easy for me to play 2 or 3 strokes. I don't have to strain and put excess energy into it to get the speed out. I can just relax. So what I do with what Joe Morello told me to do with the stick control material is to play repeat each one twice, but once. So you get 4 bars out of it. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, but it's in 2, 4. So that's 4 bars of 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I do it with just the left hand alone. And try to get the same sound. And then I go to the next exercise. And I'm going to do it on the right hand. Okay? And then try and not change the sound. Then I'm going to go on to the next exercise. And I do that for the 72 exercises, maybe twice through. And that's what I'll do. I'll work each hand together and try to match the sound, and then I'll try to work each hand separately and try to match the sound to what the 2 hands together were doing. And then as you go through the book, second column, you're doing 4s and then staying on it. And the next one. So to me, it doesn't matter whether I'm playing singles or doubles or triples or quadruples at this tempo. So it has to be done slow enough so that it all feels the same to you. There's no effort between 1 stroke per 2 bars or 8 strokes per 2 bars or 16 strokes per 4 bars, whatever it is. This sounds the same as this. Sounds the same as this. No change. And if I get to the point where I'm playing so fast that the energy level of my weak hand can't keep up with the right hand, then I need to stop. I need to not push the left hand And I need not go to the limit of my right hand and push my left hand through that, because that's not going to help my left hand. What's going to help my left hand is working extra time at slower tempos to gain control over it. And I've been playing a long time, over 50 years, and I'm telling you now, after 50 years of practicing doubling up the left hand on a lot of different exercises, there's more ways to double up than when I just showed you in stick control. I could double up almost anything that I do. But even with all the doubling I do, and as close as my hands look to you people, I'm telling you that my hands are not equal, and they never will be equal. So, if I met a person that claimed that his hands were equal, I would have to congratulate them on arriving at that. So, it's a little bit of showmanship involved of making your weak hand look good. And also practicing to support that, and also keeping the focus on the evenness of the energy coming out of each hand, or the height of the stick, or a combination of that. I use my ear. I find the best way. I don't have to look. I can hear it. It doesn't, and like I said, it doesn't even have to be the same height. And I'm throwing the left hand faster than the right, so that I get more volume out of that level. And I'm throwing the right hand is getting faster because of the height. But my right hand would not go down that fast as here. But if I'm playing this high with the right hand, then I'm using my left to make. So just listening to it. Just listening to it, I'm hearing it. Because until I developed the feel of it, I had to look at the heights and I had to consider the energy levels. But now it's just a matter of ear. I can tell by ear whether my hands have the same energy in them, because if it's not even, there's a difference in the energy level being generated. So that's that, what I think about that and how I deal with that. I hope that helps you. But I think it's really important to use stick control and use a bounce technique and stay relaxed and be considerate of your energy level and stay within your range, your weak hand range, so that you don't obviously show the difference between your right and left hand, because you outperform with your strong hand. Okay, have fun with that.